Hello, Kevin. How are you doing
Woo!
on a Saturday morning?
We are doing great. Saturday, we got a little sun going on, so life is good here.
There's always a plus over there.
Yeah.
We're chilling over here. I mean, the wife's at work. I'm chilling with the
Oh,
cats.
okay.
Well, she works weekends sometimes, so what are you gonna do? But I'm here. We want to apologize for starters. Because we meant to do a show last night,
We
and
did.
then there was a bit of miscommunication on my part. So it is what it is. But we're here now on a Saturday morning.
That's right.
For Seahawks Sessions. And we appreciate you guys for tuning in on the Twitter page, on the YouTube page, on Facebook. And we appreciate all of you that tune into this show.
That's right.
The podcast page in general every week. I mean, for God's sakes, we appreciate all of you. Seriously. I mean,
Absolutely.
it takes a lot to get this shindig rolling. So
It's rolling.
it's rolling. It's rolling, Kevin. It is what it is, but we're rolling. We're doing our thing here. So it's been a interesting week. It's
It
been
has.
weirdly humid over here.
Okay.
Weirdly humid. And then I remind myself, oh yeah, it's Memorial Day weekend.
That's right. The official kickoff to summer is here.
Which we also want to salute all the veterans who have served, including there's one in this room right here.
That's true.
There's one in this room. So we appreciate every single one of you who have lived, fought, served,
and died.
For those who've lost their lives.
That's right. So we can have what we have.
We appreciate every single stinking one of you. So, we wouldn't be doing this. Seriously,
No.
we would not be doing this without the great men and women who have served for this country and stuff like that. So, happy Memorial Day for those who celebrate. And we appreciate every single one of you. Right, Kevin?
That's absolutely true.
Sorry, there's a fire alarm going off. I don't know if you guys can hear it.
Hopefully not in your place.
No, so I live right near a fire station.
Ah.
And every now and then the fire station rolls around, like the alarm goes off. It's a little annoying sometimes, but because these microphones are super sensitive. What are you going to do?
That's good.
Which is good because, audio production is not easy to do.
That's true.
Especially when you got to figure out the stinking noise gates and all that crap and blah, 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 and all that jazz. But regardless, we got a show to do, Kevin. So welcome to the Department of BS from the beaches of lovely Long Island, New York. And we're also missing a Dustin here today. Dustin's in Virginia.
He's on the beach. Is he on a beach?
I think he's in Virginia.
Virginia, but is it in the mountains or the beach, or
we have no idea, but he's gallivanting somewhere in Virginia.
Okay.
But he missed this week, so he wanted to be here this week, but Virginia and stuff.
Right.
So it's just me and Kevin today. Not like it's a bad thing.
That's absolutely. We can bring it.
We can bring it. Of course we can. So Kevin Wilson from the great state of Texas and Belly Up Fantasy Advice and wherever you get your Belly Up articles. He's over there in his corner.
I'm here.
He's not in the middle this time. He was in the middle on Time to BS, but he's in the middle. He's in the corner this time.
That's right. That's usually where we put Dustin.
It's usually where we put Dustin over there. But you can follow the show. Like, rate, and review, and follow the show on Apple, Spotify, Good Pods, and Belly Up and Friends. Follow the official Time to BS podcast Facebook page. Just search Time to BS podcast. Not hard. New episodes of Time to BS, I Love BS coming soon. We're taking a little break from the hockey show for a bit. And Seahawks Sessions like this one and BS Sessions are coming soon. Gaming content's here. Don't forget that. So if you're interested, check it out. And we're live on Twitter and Facebook, on my personal Facebook page and on the Time to BS Twitter page, so we can see you guys tuning into the show, and we appreciate you guys. Engage in those comments on the YouTube page and be nice, you guys. Jeez. Also, BS Sessions Volume 61 is in production. News about that will be coming soon. And yeah, I think that covers it
Okay.
pretty much. I almost forgot to hit the record button about 10 minutes ago. Like 5-10 minutes ago. It was
Okay. Almost being the operative word there.
Yeah, thankfully,
Yeah.
because it's kind of hard to miss the big record button on this thing. It's kind of
Okay.
hard to miss it. It's a big square. It's also right next to the sound meter and stuff, so
Okay.
it's pretty cool. But slow day. Actually, it's been a slow week of football news. Not a lot's been going on.
Well, it's it's like you said, it's Memorial Day weekend, and if there was news, it probably wouldn't be great. So
Yeah,
that's probably a good thing.
No news is usually good news.
That's right.
Usually.
Usually.
There are times where no news is a bad thing.
That's
and
right.
then you're constantly refreshing Twitter. You're constantly refreshing Ian Rappaport's Twitter page, Shefty's Twitter page, all those insiders and stuff. You're constantly refreshing the Twitterverse.
That's right.
And then
Just make sure that you have a reliable source of information.
Which we know people, but we're not like Schefter.
True. But I've seen of how many times have you come across somebody was traded, somebody was released, and all this stuff, and people were up in arms.
Yeah,
then you find out
crazy.
it wasn't true in the first place. So
I don't know. Let's curious. Let's check Ari Marioff's Twitter account, the NFL update guy. Todd Monken is actually I'm curious to see how he's going to do in Cleveland. Todd Monken, the new Browns head coach. I'm very curious.
Let's face it. His there's not a lot of expectations in Cleveland.
Do you think they're going to trade Myles Garrett? Like, genuine question.
I don't see how they can.
Genuine question.
Maintain a fan base.
Genuine question, because his contract, in hindsight, being what it is not the worst thing in the world now.
Right.
It's still pretty bad from a defensive player's perspective.
Yeah, it's not certainly club friendly.
It's not club friendly. But it's not the most immovable deal in the world, right?
Right. Which the club gave it to him. So,
yeah, which
I never feel bad. Player, get all you can get, and they gave it to him. So now you have to live with it.
Oh yeah, he strong-armed the Browns to give them that deal, and you really can't blame him for giving Garrett that deal.
No,
because he's literally the best defensive player I think in franchise history. At that point,
I mean, we're going way back in time, even before me.
We're going to like the 40s. We're going like to maybe the 50s.
Yeah, and so, but that's not that big. I don't think that's a stretch.
It's not. It's really not that big of a stretch at all.
And he's certainly the guy that fans want to see.
Yeah.
And so, if you're the Browns, and he's certainly not the contract that's the biggest issue. Let's face that right out of the gate, because Deshaun Watson.
He's the worst contract on the team.
Absolutely, worst contract maybe in football.
Well, here's the question I ask you. I mean, we've discussed this before on these airwaves before. What are the chances of Myles Garrett being traded, and specifically to here, the Seahawks? Let's preface by saying it's not happening.
That's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
Not going to happen. And
they've learned their lesson, people.
That's right.
I hope they have.
That's right. And they, we discussed a different player in Trey Hendrickson, and they didn't make that move.
Which that says more about, I think, Hendrickson than it does about the Seahawks, because Bengals Twitter destroyed this guy when he was going through his contract talks, because let's also defend him by saying this. The sack numbers are absolutely there. The rest of the numbers, as in the run defense, are not there. And they have every right to complain over in Cincinnati.
Well, if you're going to complain about defense, I certainly wouldn't start there.
Oh, yeah, true.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But if how many first round picks would you have to give up to get him? Talking about back
Garrett?
to Cleveland,
Oh God, a lot.
a lot.
I
And
think I think 2 first round picks is where you immediately start. And
you'd have to include some players in that. Just so you couldn't bring in a contract, or you'd have to do something to bring in a contract like that.
Yeah,
into the team.
It's so it's just so tricky.
It
because
is.
the upside is incredibly there.
It is.
It's there.
Well,
You have
not just the upside, but the floor. Both.
The floor's not that bad.
The floor is high as well.
Yes.
For him.
Yes.
So it's not like, ill-advised trade with the New York Jets.
Is it safe to say, Kevin, to cut you off, he's the most dominant defensive player since prime J.J. Watt?
Absolutely.
Like, from a pass rusher perspective, and we know Aaron Donald won 3 defensive player of the years as a defensive tackle. We get it.
Yeah.
We get it. No hating on Aaron Donald here.
No.
Except the fact we hated playing against the guy as Seahawks fans, because that could also be said that the Seahawks had terrible offensive line building, blah, 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 blah. The Pete Carroll hate train continues and blah, 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 blah. We can go down that rabbit hole for 3 or 4 hours.
Probably,
but we choose not to because we like using your time.
That's
and
right.
Giving you time to talk about half decent analysis on this program. Not great, not terrible, but still. But
I'm going to say it's great. Okay.
Sure. Let's go with that. But I hope the Seahawks have learned their lesson.
Right.
In terms of big fish hunting and free agency and the trade market, because there were 2 massive trades. We could go on we can discuss the Jamal Adams trade. We can do that because we're going to tell you right now, this isn't going to be an easy show. It's not going to be anything stupid. It's not going to be anything super, long.
Right.
Hopefully. But at the same point, we can also drag this show out for 2 hours and be done with it because we can. We can.
That's right. We can.
We absolutely can. So I don't know, Kevin. What do you want to discuss first? The Jamal Adams deal or the Jimmy Graham trade?
Well, I think Jamal Adams has probably been discussed into the ground. And
have we discussed it on the show yet? I don't think we have.
Maybe not.
I don't think we have discussed it. So let's go.
That was prior to my arrival to these airwaves. Wasn't it?
I don't think we discussed the Jamal Adams trade on this program. You know what? Let's talk about it. So the Jamal Adams trade, where were you? Where was Kevin Wilson during the time of the Jamal Adams trade?
Well, I was in the same place that I am in now, but and I was. Let's be honest. I don't know about you, but I was like, okay, this looks like a solid trade at the beginning. Okay, and then it went south about as fast as a trade I think I've seen. Right off the bat.
Yeah.
Because they gave him that big deal. They traded, gave him a big deal, which got him into cap hell. And then he wasn't there.
No.
He wasn't there when he was there.
So let's preface by saying this. The Jamal Adams trade was, I think, at the time when they made the trade, I was so incredibly hyped because the upside was, okay, you're getting a faster Cam Chancellor, but a smaller Cam Chancellor. Like, you have a guy who, in the prime of his career, short prime of, this is a guy who's going to give you 6 or 8 sacks. He's going to be half decent in coverage, which then later turned out to be false.
Yeah, that was false advertising at its worst right there.
I think in a vacuum, it was not the worst idea because let's also preface by saying this was the end of the Legion of Boom. The Legion of Boom was gone.
That's Sherman right. And they were giving up 28 points a game.
Yeah, Sherman was
200 yards, a certain less. He wasn't in Vegas yet. Yeah. Was he?
Who was it? Who are you talking about?
He's Josh in Green Bay now.
Josh Jacobs?
No, Josh Jacobs rushed for 200 yards.
That was 2 years later, I think, after the trade. But
so that didn't help it. Okay,
let's paint the picture here. So Earl Thomas is gone. I think he's in Baltimore.
Right. Everybody thought he might come to Dallas. Didn't happen.
Cam Chancellor retired.
That's right.
Richard Sherman retired.
Right.
I think Bobby was still there. I'm not sure because if my timeline's correct, 2 years later the Russell Wilson trade happens. So there's a whole other can of worms that the butterfly effect in this case is weird because you could also point out and say, hey, this was the middle to the end of the Pete Carroll.
That's regime. Right. This started the death spiral, if you will.
A slow and painful death of the Pete Carroll era in Seattle, which I think this is pretty easy. I think it's a pretty self-explanatory thing to say because Pete, in his defense, wanted to bring back the animosity and the ferociousness of that defense. And this was 100% a Carroll deal.
Right. We've already discussed that as far as, who ran the draft room back in those days.
Yeah, literally.
And, so we don't know exactly where John Schneider fell into this, what his feelings were about this. And if I were him, I'd probably keep those to myself.
Which to avoid a God knows what.
Right, because you just assume back that truck up to the back of the, furthest parts of the dumpster, the dump.
Yeah.
And bury it as far down as you can.
Now, Jamal Adams was traded for 2 first-round picks, a third-round pick.
That's rough.
And safety Bradley McDougald, which in coverage speaking-wise, McDougald was the better safety. Because Jamal could not cover in Seattle. He couldn't. To save his life. I don't know what happened. But his coverage skills were gone.
Right. Probably to do with his legs, but who knows?
Probably. But I think the first 3 or 4 games, you saw, okay, this is a guy who you knew, if healthy, and we'll get to that in a second, if healthy, he's a Swiss Army knife that you can have for your defense. And let's go back to that. If healthy, because I think what derailed the trade more was not just the money, his injury history. He could not stay healthy in Seattle.
He couldn't, and that was not an issue for New York.
No, it wasn't. It was not an issue for him with the Jets.
So you couldn't have foreseen that. And we like to throw Ryan and his Jets under the bus as much as we possibly can, but one thing the Jets do know how to do is play defense.
Yes.
And so
correct. It's been a weird history for them.
If you got a guy on the Jets team that's highly, playing high defense, I'll buy that.
Correct. But
so I guess the Colts, they're dealing with their own pick, from the Jets, and we'll see about how that works out. But
watch them go 2-15.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it becomes the first pick in the draft.
Yeah.
That'd be hilarious. But
it would. And so, I thought that was, the first, 2 first-round picks is always kind of tough to stomach.
Now you don't see those kind of
player
trades.
That's an all-pro level player, you can live with that.
Yeah.
That's not what they got.
No.
They didn't even get a...
Oh, hey, Desi. What's up, sister? How you doing?
Hey. He wasn't even decent on the Seahawks.
He wasn't. He couldn't cover, and the defense went from, okay, it's a half-decent defense, not terrible, not great, to, oh, God, they're giving up 40 a game.
That's right, and 200 yards for running backs, and so it was an
500 yards of offense a game.
It was just embarrassing.
It was a free fall of all free falls from a once dominant defense.
And this is coming from a guy who's seen the Cowboys defense up close. So,
oh God, yeah.
So that's not a good statement to make right there at all.
It's not. So and I think it was 2 or 3 years later, Pete Carroll's gone.
Right.
So, but a year prior to Pete Carroll leaving, the Russell Wilson trade happens, which it continues the butterfly effect of all butterfly effects.
It does.
Like, it's one of those things where you go, what if they didn't make this trade? What if they didn't make the Jamal Adams deal? What would have happened? Would Pete still be here? Would Mike McDonald have been hired as head coach? Would they have seen a second Super Bowl? It's one of those weird questions you got to ask yourself.
Right. And we talked about this last episode, and I'm still amazed that Dustin was immediately with
which, by the way, let me point this out here. We got some backlash from that.
We did.
So there were a couple Seahawks fans that said, and I quote, yes, Pete Carroll would have won a Super Bowl with this roster. And it took me every single ounce of my well-being to not tell them, go kick rocks and eat sand, because that's not that's not what it would have happened.
Because first of all, they wouldn't have had the roster that they had.
No,
with Pete Carroll as the head coach.
No,
it would have been that way.
But I don't know.
Things have a weird way of working out.
Yeah,
and and Pete Carroll, you got to give it up because he did win a Super Bowl, cost him a second one, but he got him there, and we all appreciate what he did. But it was, as you past time to go,
multiple times,
and the Raiders debacle just put an exclamation point on that. And highly respect to Pete Carroll, but he needs to stay away from any kind of head coach or go to your local high school and teach them football over there.
Which, let's also point this out. After the Russell Wilson trade, let's go back to the Wilson trade, because the first game of the year, Russell Wilson comes home.
That's right, and that's marketing genius at its highest form right there.
And what happened 2 plays into that game? Jamal Adams tears his quad.
Right.
Which is like, oh, come on.
So, come on. That's even more, Aaron Rodgers, at least he had 4 plays.
It was something, I think it was something like 3 or 4 plays in or something.
Yeah, it was 4 plays, it was the first, he tore, he was out for the year, so.
Yeah, I think Jamal Adams on the first blitz of the game tore his quad. It was something stupid. It was like, come on, really? What are you possibly doing that's getting you hurt all the time? Like, what are you doing? And I'm sure if we were, let's, by the grace of God, if Jamal Adams came on this show, not say what happened, but if he did come on the show, we could talk with him. And be like, hey, Jamal, what were you doing in Seattle that caused you to get hurt all the freaking time?
Was there anything different that you did?
Yeah.
Than New York?
It's a legitimately good question to ask.
Because they're both on the coast, so, it wasn't like, he went to Denver and had to play in mile high air and all that sort of thing.
True, yeah.
Maybe I'm probably not maybe. It's a little more rainy, in Seattle.
Who knows?
But what does that have to do with anything? But
who knows, Kevin? Who knows?
So maybe he would have an answer to that as far as, did he do anything differently? And if he did, would he have done that differently?
Do you want to talk about another trade that happened before we go to break?
Okay.
So 5 years prior to the Jamal Adams trade,
right,
there's another trade that happened, which if you were to point at the specific beginning of the downfall of the Pete Carroll regime, it was this one.
Right.
The Jimmy Graham trade, which now there's a lot of Seahawks fans that are saying this is one of the worst trades they ever made, because of the fact of maybe it was the worst trade in franchise history when you consider not only what they gave up, but who they gave up, and what happened afterwards. Now, at the time, the Seahawks are coming off a Super Bowl loss like a month prior
to
this trade.
Right.
One of the worst losses in franchise history when you consider what happened.
Correct.
Now,
it's the most devastating loss I've ever experienced.
11 years later, that loss has been redeemed.
True.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, football gods. We appreciate you. Yes, we appreciate this. And I think it was like 3 weeks or 3 or 4 weeks after that loss, the Super Bowl loss, word breaks that Jimmy Graham just got traded to the Seahawks. And you're like, holy cow.
All right, let's get this offense rolling.
And that was the immediate thought was like, we got arguably a top 10 tight end ever.
Of all time, right.
Of all time.
And we can back that up, okay?
The stats are there.
The stats are there. How about 144 targets, 86 catches for 1,215 yards, and 16 touchdowns?
That was 2013
or
14?
That was 2013 he did that.
Yeah.
The next year he caught 85 catches and 10 touchdowns. Not quite as effective, but still.
But when you consider that era of tight end usage, 2011 to 2013, you had Rob Gronkowski. Say what you want, but Aaron Hernandez was there. Say what you want, because he did what he did.
Right.
Jimmy Graham was there. Tony Gonzalez towards the end of his career.
Right.
Jason Witt was still going strong.
Right.
And there was also this other kid from Cincinnati. Travis Kelce got involved. This was the beginning of Travis Kelce's dominance.
Right.
So there was the beginning of the tight end boom was there.
Right.
And it was started with the first two guys, Rob Gronkowski and Jimmy Graham.
Right. And this is the guy who was targeted 124 or more times 4 straight seasons.
Yes, it was ridiculous the production he was getting as a tight end. Keep in mind, a tight end.
Right.
Okay? Tight ends are usually blockers. It's only been recently they've been getting used as receivers more. Like recently as of the last 15 years. So,
right. And that's where the main issue comes in with the Seahawks and Jimmy Graham.
And then the game started in Seattle.
Right. And all of a sudden, his first season, he played 11 games. So there was an injury problem. But the next year, 16 games, he went from 124 targets to 95.
Yeah.
That's a 30-target drop.
Yeah.
And they had him blocking tight end.
Which
he was never that.
That was not his skill set.
That was not his skill set.
He wasn't
and
a blocking
they've had
tight end.
5 years of tape from New Orleans to be able to verify that.
He could block. Let's be real here. He could block.
But that's not his strength.
It wasn't great.
No.
And before you go after and say Pete Carroll, blah, 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 Pete Carroll had Percy Harvin. Okay, bad example. Percy Harvin was hurt, but still, he could take Hall of Fame talent and he would still insist on this is my system and this is how we're going to do it.
Right.
You had Jimmy Graham,
right,
who was as Swiss Army knife as a Swiss Army knife could get on offense. And you didn't know how to use him?
Didn't know how to use him. And when they did use him, him and Russell Wilson never got the chemistry right.
Which, let's also point out, Jimmy Graham did not like the defense. Hated the Legion of Boom. In the 2 games in the first Super Bowl team, 2013, he got in near fist fights with the secondary.
Well, they can certainly hold their own with anybody. So
sure, good point. There's like 12 of them and one of this guy. So
right. Although as a tight end, he was a big guy, but still,
he was a huge guy.
You're telling me that you want to go 1-on-1 with Cam Chancellor?
Yeah,
you're losing.
You're not beating Cam. With all due respect to Jimmy, you're not beating Cam Chancellor. But that whole trade. And let's talk about what they gave up. First round pick, 31st overall.
Right.
4th round pick, and center Max Unger.
And that's where you really step off the cliff.
Notice the offensive line's production after the trade.
That's right. They never adequately replaced him.
Until recently, the offensive line in
recent days, right,
was garbage.
Absolute garbage. The offensive line never recovered from that.
Which you can also point out to, but they trade for Dwayne Brown. Dwayne Brown, in his God honest credit, is probably someday going to be in the Hall of Fame one day. Probably. Maybe not. Who knows?
Maybe not. But, you're in the conversation, you're a solid player.
Dwayne Brown did not fix the offensive line. The Dwayne Brown trade did not fix the offensive line. Okay? To continue this.
Nothing did. That was the problem.
What's up?
Nothing did. Nothing
did at that time. And say, Pete Carroll had a system, blah. That's the point. That's the point we're getting to. Pete Carroll insisted on his system, his ways, and that's what worked. And it didn't work. Here's to continue my point.
Excuse me.
Breathe, you. Bless you.
I'm trying to breathe.
To continue my point, the Seahawks also signed Luke Jokel, who's one of the worst busts of an offensive line player.
Yeah, we don't need to get into that.
Yeah, it was just, oh, God.
So
I still have his jersey, by the way. I still have Jimmy Graham's jersey.
I didn't do that, fortunately for me.
Yeah, now looking back,
there wasn't as big a statement on Jimmy Graham as I've said. I don't particularly care to wear somebody else's last name on the back of my jersey. So
fair point, fair analysis from Kevin.
That's why Russell Wilson was so great for me when he was there, because I was able to wear a jersey that said Wilson on the back. So.
Did you get Luke Wilson by chance?
I did not, because he had 2 L's in his name.
Oh, come on. That would have been funny.
It would have been.
That would have been great. But it's that continues our
that's another trade. They need to put that way in the back of the dumpster, pile, and bury it as far down as you can.
I think these are the 2 worst trades when you consider what they gave up and the production in franchise history. I think it's a pretty fair observation to make.
It is, but it's 2 different things, because Jamal Adams hurt, but Jimmy Graham, they didn't use him right.
Jimmy Graham was the product. Jimmy
Seahawks' total fault there.
The failure of the Jimmy Graham trade was the product of the system. You had every single opportunity to go, hey, we have this super weapon at tight end in Jimmy Graham, and we're going to continue to use him in our pedestrian-ass offense.
Right. And you're telling me that you traded for a guy who had 57 catches instead of 80, 99 catches he had one year.
It was the last year he was in Seattle. They really went, this guy is a mismatch nightmare in the red zone.
I mean, that's when he had 10 touchdowns.
10 touchdowns.
And it took him 3 years to figure that out.
Did you know that Jimmy Graham also has the most touchdowns by a tight end in franchise history?
That's a indictment on the Seahawks of the franchise.
Did you not know this? AJ Barner's going to break that record one day.
Okay. And
he's going to break that record in 2 years.
Happily break it.
Yeah. He's going to break the record in 2 years. But Jimmy Graham had 18 touchdowns.
I got the stats here.
He had 6 in 2016.
Right, because he played 11 games, as I said. He had...
in Jimmy's defense, in 2015,
18
he did
TDs in 3 years.
Yeah, Barner's going to break their... If he stays in Seattle for the next 5 years, he's going to break their record. Which is sad.
Unlike the 3-year stretch he had in New Orleans, where he had 36 receiving touchdowns.
Ridiculous.
And then he had 10 the year after that.
Crazy.
Yeah. So
yeah. Stupid.
Flush that.
So stupid.
Yeah.
So with that being said, we'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen, because this show is not free.
Correct.
Cue the music. This show ain't free, so time for some ads.
Hey guys, this is Hector from the Insert Name FC podcast, here to tell you guys about Canada Dips. It is a great tasting, superior alternative to traditional dip using CBD in a way that is radical, enjoyable, and effective. It comes in 5 core flavors: wintergreen, mint, citrus, mango, and American spice. Canada CBD is the new evolution in dip, allowing guys to enjoy great, long-lasting taste without the downsides. If you guys want to go ahead and try them out, use the code BELLYUP20 at CanadipCBD.com. Once again, BELLYUP20 at CanadipCBD.com, and you'll get yourself 20% off your purchase. Thank you again for Canadips for being a great partner of Belly Up Sports.
Hey, Kevin, did you know that Jackson Smith and Jigba won the Defensive Player of the Year award?
That's pretty amazing.
How do you mess that up?
I don't know if that was just, an honest mistake. But let's say he was a Cowboy. Let's just say. Do we actually think that this accident would have occurred? I don't think so.
Nope.
And so, come on, NFL. They're the defending Super Bowl champions.
That was the thing. They're the defending Super Bowl champions.
So they're not a team that just, moseyed up the street.
I guarantee you this happens to, Jacksonville, too.
It could. And when I first saw this, I thought, well, this has to be one of those, where this is incorrect reporting.
It was terrible.
But it turned out to be true.
There was video evidence of this crap.
I saw that. And so, come on, NFL. That doesn't matter who won it or what team he's from. Your accuracy. He's the player of the year.
Offensive player of the year, by the way.
Offensive player of the year, but just player of the year. It's not too much to ask that you get the actual, field that he's playing on, correct?
Yeah. So, my favorite tweet of this whole thing was by some random person where he goes, "Did Fanatics make this award by chance?" And I laughed. That's funny. How do you mess that? It's 2 letters. It's right. 2 different letters.
Right.
And when JSN got the award and then he recorded video evidence of it, he goes, "Come on. Really?"
Right.
And he called the NFL out. It was really? Defending Super Bowl champions and blatant faces of one of the faces of your league is JSN.
Right.
And the blatant disrespect. Blatant. Just come on.
It's kind of like, if you were in Hollywood and you were talking about Tom Cruise, but then you bring up a movie he wasn't even in. Yeah. How does this happen?
Oh yeah, I remember Tom Cruise. He was in The Godfather.
Right. You give him Tom Cruise wins the Academy Award, right? But you say he was in The Princess Bride or something. Come on.
That's great. That is terrific. Oh man, that's a good movie too. For those who haven't seen it, go watch.
No disrespect to the movie. Okay.
No, it's none
whatsoever.
Let me rephrase.
Cruise is nowhere near that movie.
It's not the greatest movie in the world, but it's an entertaining. It's one of the more entertaining films you'll ever find.
Right.
It's like Airplane.
Well, let's not get crazy. Because Airplane is one of the great movies in cinematic history. Certainly.
This woman needs a hospital. What is it? It's a building with patients in it.
That's not important.
I miss Leslie Nielsen. I miss him so much.
Right, and that was the movie who, he was a B-grade actor before that.
Yeah, he was.
And he got transformed into an A-list comedian like none other. We're talking about, Leslie Nielsen. Okay, now this is an amp comparison. You give Leslie Nielsen, the award for, comedic actor of the year, but you say that you got that because he was in the Poseidon Adventure.
Oh my God!
Which he was the captain of the ship and died in the first 30 minutes.
What an obscure reference from Kevin.
There we go. I've got references for it. So.
That he does. So yeah, come on, NFL, get
on,
your stuff right. Jesus.
This somebody needs to be taken back behind a woodshed somewhere.
It's like Old Yeller.
Old Yeller and put down.
He gets bitten by a pig or something like that.
Yeah.
Cracks rabies. All of a sudden, you got to put him in the shed, and you can't look.
That's right.
Can't look when he's in the shed.
Hide the eyes of the children.
Yeah, right. Oh, that movie traumatized me as a child.
Well, yeah.
Because with dogs, but geez, come on.
Yeah. Did you ever see the movie Stripes?
I don't think I have.
With Bill Murray. He uses that movie, the old
Oh,
Yeller.
is he really?
He does. In one of his motivational speeches. It's awesome.
Oh, God. That must have been interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, geez. But, oh, boy. That probably traumatized Desi a little bit. Desi's probably in the chat going, why'd you have to bring up Old Yeller? Ugh.
It'll be okay.
God. every time I have to, use this to like shake my wife senselessly because she's either like having a bad day or something like that. I just remember Airplane. Hold on, stop this. I have this situation covered. Get a hold of yourself. It's almost on the line.
That's right. The whole line with the boxing gloves and the big wrench.
The mace.
Classic.
Get a hold of yourself.
That's not even talking about the funniest scene, which was in the disco.
Yeah.
I read. What was that he said? I leaned over and whispered to the guy next to me, "Pinch me."
What a great movie.
It was a great movie.
If you haven't seen Airplane, ladies and gentlemen,
we need to
go
put
watch
that on the list immediately.
And we're not talking about the Snoop Dogg one. We're talking that's Airplanes or Disco or Lemo Plane or something like that. I can't remember the movie.
Yeah.
It's not Snoop Dogg, okay? It is Leslie Nielsen, and it's one of the funniest movies you'll ever see.
It is. Airplane with the exclamation. Okay.
Yes. One of the funniest movies you will ever see. So go watch it.
That's right.
Kevin, I got a deep question for you, but it's a good one. It's a loaded question, but it's a good one. So out of the we understand the success that the 2025 Seahawks draft class had. We understand that. Yeah. Gray Zabel, people say he reached Jared, but so people say they reached on Gray Zabel.
I didn't
buy that.
Looking
at you, Jared. I'm looking at you.
I didn't buy that.
We appreciate
I was
Jared
live when they made that selection.
Yes, and I remember.
And I was, it was a audible sigh of relief that the Seahawks did that.
And then they traded up to select Nick Eamon-Wari, who became one of the Swiss Army knives of this defense.
Correct.
And then they just hit solid pick after solid pick after solid pick after home run. It looks like that most of these players are going to be here for a long time. Now, let's preface this question.
Right.
Which of the 2025 Seahawks draft class will have a sophomore blossom? There are rules to this.
Okay.
Nick Eamon-Wari and Gray Zabel are excluded from this list.
Right. Not eligible.
Because they've been as advertised.
If they blossom any further, then the NFL is really in trouble.
Correct. So, Kevin, I'm gonna go first. Okay. We're gonna go from 4 to 1. Okay. So, number 4, I have Elijah Arroyo, tight end from Miami.
Okay.
I think that to throw this terrible reference, remember the 2012 Patriots or the 2011 Patriots where they had the entire of their offense was the 2 tight end system between Rob Gronkowski and Aaron Hernandez?
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to try and do that with AJ Barner and Elijah Arroyo because you saw the talent that's there with Arroyo. Yeah, you saw the talent be there with Arroyo. You saw the tape from him in Miami, and you go, man, if they open up the offense to where they get this guy open, look out because he's got talent that's there. He absolutely has talent that's there, and the potential is there. He got hurt most of the year, but the potential is there for Arroyo. So that's number 4. Number 3, Torrey Horton. Easy. Torrey Horton's number 3 for me.
Right.
The only reason he's not higher on this list is because of the injury concerns.
That's right. Take that away. He got in the end zone.
He did. He did get in the end zone. 6 touchdowns as a rookie before being out for the year with a shin injury, a phantom shin injury. Number 2, you might like this one. Fullback, Robbie Oots.
Okay.
I think
I'm down with this.
I think Robbie Oots is going to have a great year next year as a fullback.
Right.
And it's because of who's coming in to be the offensive coordinator, and that's Brian Fleury. Where did he come from? San Francisco.
Right.
Who's their fullback in San Francisco? Kyle Juszczyk, who's also an extra tight end. And
Right.
you can use that.
You can.
You can absolutely do it that way. And Oots has the potential to do that. Now we're going based off of potential here. This is just predictions here, people. These are not definitive. These obviously can change over time.
Correct.
So, and number 1, Riley Mills.
Okay.
Riley Mills from Notre Dame. He was a 5th-round pick. He could play nose tackle, he could play defensive tackle, he could play defensive end. He could play everywhere on your defensive line. And we saw in 2 playoff games and the Super Bowl, he was a wrecking ball at defensive tackle. And I think, truthfully, whenever Leonard Williams and Jaron Reed eventually retire, Riley is going to pair great with Byron Murphy because they're essentially the same dang player.
Right.
Which is, you want to see that so bad. So, Kevin, who are your 4 players expected to have a sophomore blossom for the 2025 Seahawks draft class?
Well, my 4, 3, and 2 are exactly the same as yours.
Who's number 1?
So number 1 is a guy that's I'm kind of hoping for. Okay, but that's Bryce Cable.
Really?
I think he can have a big impact. He's going to because he's behind. In our we're going to talk about the next draft class in a minute, but
he's behind the depth. He's behind Zabel in the depth chart by chance.
Well, that's possible, but I'm thinking that he's going to provide some push over there at the right guard position
for Bradford.
That's
right.
So he's got 2 guys pushing him, and we're going to talk about this other guy probably in a minute.
All right.
But so if he could put some pressure, the offensive line is going to be solid.
Yes, for years to come.
Because as we've discussed, Bradford was the letdown.
Yep.
In the offensive line. So any kind of guard play that put pressure on him and the impact, we're not talking about maybe, you're going to see it on the field. But I'm talking about an impact that's going to push somebody because he's got to be looking in his rearview mirror, Bradford, I mean.
Yeah.
He's got 2 players coming up behind him, and they're gaining, it's like Jaws. You better get ready.
Yep.
So that's the way I'm kind of seeing that going. And, I'm really interested. You mentioned Oots,
yeah.
Oots. I get that wrong every time.
It's all right.
To see what he can do in this offense.
Yes.
It's going to be exciting to me. And, he's not, of course, the guy that's going to race for, 27 yards for a touchdown, but he's a professional, even though it's only his 2nd year.
Yeah.
And he can show these guys that are coming in how to play running back.
Correct. Absolutely.
So I'm excited to see that.
Absolutely. So we're all in agreement except for number 1. I have Riley Mills, you have Bryce Cable, and but 2, 3, and 4 are pretty much exactly the same.
Yep, right down the line on that one.
All right. I think we might have 100. I think we might flip our players around for the 2026 rookies. But
Okay.
next up, we go, which of the 2026 rookie class for the Seahawks will have the biggest impact? Number 4, I got Bud Clark.
Okay.
I'm hyped on this kid.
I am absolutely jamming
Which
on him.
I think we can pretty much agree that Eamon Ward is going to be the starting strong safety this season.
Right. But we've already discussed how they're going to move him around.
They're going to move this kid around like crazy. And I think Bud Clark's upside is Geno Stone. Which if you remember Geno Stone with Baltimore when Mike McDonald was the defensive coordinator,
right?
Geno Stone was like their nickel or dime safety. And he, I think, led the league in interceptions one year.
If you're going to be a defensive player, Stone is a good place to start.
Which Bud Clark, I think you told me this. I think he led the FBS in interceptions for 3 straight years.
Correct.
So, and his ball skills are excellent.
That's right. And
for TCU, by the way, TCU.
And it's one of those where you made a pick that's also a need on your team.
Correct. Safety was
always,
not the biggest need,
that's not always the case.
Yeah.
But it was here.
Safety was not the greatest need in the world.
No.
But Ty Okada has his ups, and then he has his moments where, like, what happened there? But he did play really well for the Seahawks this past season, did Ty Okada. Number 3, their first-round pick, Jadarian Price. Jadarian Price gives me so much Raheem Mostert vibes, where you have a guy who's going to rush for 60 yards and like, oh, he's gone. And it's the offense to me, the scheme that they're playing, that they're going to play in Seattle with the zone read scheme is going to help Price a lot. It's also going to help Emmanuel Wilson a lot. It's going to help Charbonnet whenever he's back a lot. It's going to help George Halani a lot. It's going to help Kenny McIntosh a lot. And you're going to see 4, maybe 5 of those guys, all 5 of those guys probably going to have 500-600 yards rushing, which would be amazing.
Perfect.
Which a dominant run offense is a lot better than a dominant passing offense, because you can shut down a dominant passing offense.
Right, because if you get 500 yards passing, it usually means you're behind most of the game.
Most of the time, yes. Which, yeah. Number 2, Bo Stevens from Iowa. You mentioned something that Bo Stevens was one of the best guard prospects in this entire draft class, and how the heck he fell that far, we have no idea. No idea. And they traded up to get him, and I'm pretty sure everyone in Seahawk land was like, Bradford's got competition and deservedly so.
That's what I'm saying.
That's immediately what we all thought of.
Yeah, absolutely. I know I did.
Yep. Number 1, and I love this, Julian Neal from Arkansas. I think this pairs greatly with what they try to do, which is you have Devin Witherspoon with coverage skills. He's better in coverage than Devin Witherspoon, but he plays like Witherspoon. So, and he's huge for a corner. He's 6'2", 6'3", and 225, which is massive for a corner. And for this system, which you need ball skills, you need playmaking ability for both the run defense and the pass defense. You need that. So, Bud Clark, Jadarian Price, Bo Stevens, Julian Neal, 4 through 1. All right, Kevin, what about you?
Okay, so I've got the same guys, a little bit different order, but I'm going to start with Clark because safety, as you mentioned, not that critical a need. They had a need, but it wasn't that critical. I think that this guy can play. His floor is high. I think his ceiling is high, and the fact that they got this guy in the second round is pretty unbelievable to me.
Yep.
And then at number 3, I'm going to go with you just mentioned him, Neal, because that's a more immediate need because of the losses that they had.
Yeah, and they have depth at corner now, but it's not the greatest depth at corner.
And so, but when you move up depth, something's got to come up underneath it. Otherwise, now it's not depth anymore. And so,
yes,
he's going to provide that.
He is. He's going to start probably day one.
In a major way. And number 2, as you mentioned, Stevens, he's got to put the press on. And I think he will.
On Bradford, yes.
On Bradford. So I am absolutely convinced that he's number 2. And number 1 to me, though, is Price. And we talked about this before.
Yep.
I think that he's going to have a better season this year than his more ballyhooed teammate that went to Arizona.
Than Jeremiah Love, yeah.
Jeremiah Love.
I would not be
saying
surprised.
he's a better player. None of that.
I'm with you on that, and it's because of the scheme.
That's right. The scheme, the team he's on, and the opportunity he has, and he doesn't have, a guy that Arizona just traded for. That you talk about a guy who's like, well, what do I have to do? Because he comes from Atlanta, right?
And
okay, yeah. I'm going to be number 1 or 1A, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that, and then they go and make this choice, which I think was off. I was live when they made this trade.
Yeah,
and I couldn't believe. I was like, "Come on!"
Now, at the same point, you can also see what the Cardinals are trying to do,
right?
Which is take a lot of pressure off whoever's starting at quarterback. To be honest here,
I get that.
Still,
but they had more pressing needs than that. But anyways, we're talking about the Seahawks here. But Price, he's going to be the number. Wilson, we both like him.
Yeah, we both like Emmanuel Wilson here.
And so, but Price is going to be number 1.
Yes, it's got to be.
Got to be number 1 in the running game because we don't know how long the history is going to take or any of that.
We don't know how long the injury is going to take for Charbonnet to heal.
Right.
And Kenny
this makes it so they don't have to rush him. And
then Kenny McIntosh is coming back off an ACL injury, but he suffered last year.
And that doesn't even include Holani. But
Holani, I'm so excited for. I'm so excited to see what this kid can do.
But Price is going to be the number 1 guy.
Yes, correct.
And he's going to mark it right here at just before noon in Texas time. Price, better season than Love.
All right.
Not career. Although that would be awesome if he did that.
It would be awesome, but we'll see. We'll see.
But this year, Price will have the better results.
So, I mean, we got anything else to talk about? We really don't have a lot to talk about this week.
Wow,
Kevin.
We brought it home, I'd have to say.
We did. This might be the quickest show we ever did on Seahawks Sessions.
Woo!
Woo! Exciting. So, with that being said, we don't have BS of the week this week. I really don't have a lot. We really didn't have a lot to talk about this time. Are you in an echo?
No, I don't think so.
All right. I thought I heard something. I was like, where's that echo coming from? Anyway, so with that being said, from the great state of Texas, Bell Fantasy Love is Kevin Wilson. I'm Dan Cruz. I'm coming to you from the beaches of Long Island, New York. And we'll see you around, ladies and gentlemen.
Everybody have a great 3-day weekend, okay?
Yes, please.
Be safe out there.
Enjoy it, people.
Okay.
It's a wonderful
remember what it's for.
There. And the other thing, remember what it's for. Remember for what it's for, and also try your best to enjoy this life that you have.
That's right.
Seriously.
And this is very important. If you happen to be coughing up blood, go to the doctor.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Rest in peace, Kyle Busch. Seriously. Right. Oh my goodness. So that being said, have a good weekend, ladies and gentlemen, and enjoy it.
That's right.